Hi, so this is part 2 of my mental health story. I'm just going to be continuing on from my first video, so if you haven't already watched the first one, I'd recommend clicking on that. I'm going to leave a link in the description, and I'll try and put a button somewhere on the screen if I can work out how to do it. If there ain't a button on the screen right now, then that means I didn't work out how to do it, but I'll try, I'll have a go. But yeah, continuing on from my previous video, I was in a dark place. I was in the darkest place I had ever been in my life. I didn't want to get up out of bed in the morning. I didn't have any motivation. I didn't want to see any people. Those I did see, my friends and family and my partner at the time, I communicated with them the space I was in, and I was in a really dark place, and I couldn't put my finger on what exactly it was that was putting me or had me in the space I was at. I just knew I was there, and I didn't want to be in life anymore, because that was literally the only place and space I can be as an individual, is in the dark space I was at. If I could or thought more positively and been more positive at the time, I would have. Or if I could have looked at, you know, life more full and, you know, had gratitude and everything. And prior to being in a dark place, I had I'd read The Secret, and I'd read The Power of Now, and a few other books. And I've been on self-improvement, like, I've just been on a journey in self-growth prior to that, but none of those tools helped me or assisted me with my situation I was at. But I shared and I spoke to people, and that didn't help either. And if you've ever been in a dark place or are in a dark place, time moves so slow. Life was dragging, and it was just a very difficult time. And I didn't have anyone. Obviously I shared it with my close people, but I didn't really relate to anyone being in this dark place. And it wasn't until I was in the dark place that I then began to have an appreciation for those who committed suicide and have had suicidal thoughts. Like, prior to being in this dark place, I was naive and almost foolish in my thoughts of, I used to just think like, oh, how can somebody commit suicide? Or why, surely things can't be that bad. Or, you know, there's like, when you hear stories about people committing suicide and you look from the outside of like, what were their positions and what were the space that they were at, you're like, oh, there's people in much worse positions who haven't committed suicide, and they've dealt with it, so why couldn't that person? And I saw it as being quite a cowardly thing to do, committing suicide, and, you know, you could work out the space and the situation you're in. But it wasn't until being in this dark space and actually not wanting to be here anymore, it was kind of like that was the only exit. Because life, you can't just stop life. There's not like an option to go, do you know what, guys, I've kind of just had enough at the moment, so I'm just gonna sign out. I'm done with life, like family, goodbye and that. But yeah, I'm just finished. I'm gonna call it a day. So yeah, I don't know if there's an afterlife, or I might see you in the afterlife, but if there's not, then goodbye and sign out of life. You can't do it. And life is hard. Yeah, 50 Cent says, death has to be easy because life is hard. It will leave you physically, mentally and emotionally scarred. And life can definitely do that. If you're up against it, if you're in a dark position, and your circumstances and stuff you go through, life, everyone speaks and picks on social media to a certain extent, and social media is a bad platform, and it's also a very positive platform. However, social media is a highlight reel which is shown, and everyone's like, oh, it's just a highlight reel and that's a bad thing. But in life, we live a highlight reel because we're all about like looking good. We care about what people think, and we don't really share openly. We might share to the people who know us, but we don't share openly negative things, bad things that have occurred in our life, things that aren't so great. And there's a lot of people in dysfunctional households. There's a lot of like people in broken homes, I don't know, single parents. There's people who've been sexually abused by strangers. There's been people who've been sexually abused by family members. There's schizophrenic family or mental health issues within a family which isn't communicated, and it's kind of it's a burden on you in life because you feel like, oh, I'm the only person who's going through this and I have to keep it as a secret, and it can really eat away at you. And sometimes going through traumatic situations or circumstances, it was just that time or moment in your life. However, because you have to keep it all internal, it kind of just stays inside you and almost rots inside you, and can be very polluting. And I've kind of lost my path of what I was going to say now. Yeah, there's just loads of stuff that happens in life that we don't speak about. And speaking on suicide, and that was where I kind of went off a bit. The reason I started YouTube, and this is the actual, I had loads of thoughts about doing YouTube before and stuff, but the reason why I actually took action was because 3 weeks ago I found out that suicide is in young people is, I'm not going to say because I'm not sure of the stats with male and female, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was like a leading, if not the leading, definitely within males is the leading, but in young people the leading cause of death between the ages of, I think it was 20 and 49, and for those males, that's that between male and female, between 75 and 78% of those who committed suicide were males. And that just took, I couldn't comprehend that those figures were true, that they were that it was facts that 70, let's just say 75% of males are the ones who commit suicide out of all of those that commit suicide. So I felt that I needed to join the platform because I didn't feel as though there was anybody relatable who's genuinely authentic and real and open. And that's not like a dig at anybody who is on YouTube. I just feel that a lot of us are run by this whole thing of like looking good and worrying and caring what the world thinks. I've just decided that I'm gonna not care what the world thinks and just share stories and speak about stuff and just be open and honest and take what comes from that. I've recorded this, you can see I've got a haircut and the camera's moved, and I've also got a different hoodie on, but the messages and stuff I received from my first video that I've done was amazing, and then there was a need for me to be on this platform. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my mental health story because I feel like I've kind of gone off. I was in this really dark place and I couldn't do anything to shift or get out of where I was feeling, and I googled depression, and I went on YouTube and watched a couple of videos. Again, wasn't relatable for me, but I watched and looked anyway if there was anything that could help me. And you know, people said you have to try and think more positively and take more positive actions and stuff and whatever. But I was going to the gym still feeling the way I was feeling, I tried so many stuff. My diet, changed my diet, started taking vitamin D supplements, doing so much stuff, and none of it was working. The thing that got me out of it, and it wasn't something I was actually looking for, or I was looking to get out of it, but I didn't look to this to think, oh, that's gonna get me out of it. But this was the thing that made a difference in my situation and my circumstances. This is a Charlemagne the God's book, Black Privilege, Opportunities Come to Those Who Create It, by Charlemagne the God. This book, it answered questions that I didn't even know I had, and gave me the answers to those questions, and shifted everything for me. Or I'm not going to say everything, I'd probably say about 75% of the space and the darkness that I was at, but it led on to me doing and creating and doing everything else. But there's so many, I don't want to turn this into a book review, but there's so many good points and good things that I took away from it. But it made me definitely realize that in life I was being stagnant. There wasn't a change in me. I wasn't improving or developing. I was just literally doing the same stuff, around the same people, having the same conversations. Like, just life was just very, very stagnant. And because it was stagnant, there was no growth. There was no growth at all. I was in the raft of life, not taking charge of life, not making my own decisions, just going with the current. Wherever the raft takes me in life, that's where I'd go. Don't get me wrong, there were good things that happened in that time, like promotions and just success and things I was doing, but I wasn't actually exercising my brain really and doing anything to grow. I was just kind of, these are all the things I learned, and then getting on with life. So that book led me to, it put me in just a whole new space, and it really showed me that how amazing literature is. And I didn't actually read the physical, I've got a physical book there, but I didn't actually read it. I listened to it on Amazon, and I definitely recommend anybody, because even if you're not into reading, Audible may be a way of you getting into reading or taking in the literature. Like I thought, well, if I'm going to read a book, I have to physically read it. I can't listen to audio. But I had a conversation with my godfather, and he kind of shifted that whole thing for me. But reading was just hard work for me. Like, I get to the end of the page and forget what I've read, and forgot things which were earlier on in the chapter, and completely get lost in a book. And also, time-wise, it would just take me ages to read a book. Whereas with Audible, I'm able to go, I can do whatever I'm doing. Like, on my commute to work, I can listen to a book. I could go to the gym, I could be cooking, I could be cleaning, anything. It's just like listening to music, basically. Anywhere you can listen to music, you could be listening to a book instead of listening to music, something that's going to help you elevate, grow, do more, and be more. And this also opened me to meeting new people, making new friends, having new discussions, and just growing, basically growing. And I put majority of my depressed state and where I got to was due to me not growing in life and being very, very stagnant, and not having anything that was properly fulfilling and making life worthwhile for me. I think, is that enough of my mental health story? I don't even know how I'm meant to summarize this or come to an end, but I just want to thank you for listening and watching this video. I had some amazing messages from in the week from people, and I was really blown away by the response that I got, because I wasn't really knowing what to expect when I put this out into the universe, what was going to come back from it. And it's been amazing, and it's been positive, and I feel like there's genuinely a need for me to be here on this platform. And I'm going to continue creating content and speaking about real stuff that people are going through. So if you have any ideas or things that you'd like me to speak about, if you drop a comment in the comment box below, or you can message me directly on Instagram. My Instagram's Sweets Lewis. I don't mind if you want to share something with me, or open up to me, or have a conversation with me. I'm easygoing lad. So yeah, I'm going to try and put videos up on a weekly basis, speaking about just real life subjects, and I'm committed to being open and honest and authentic with you. I'm not a personality, I'm just a real person on the other side of the camera, who's open to just having a real conversation and hopefully making a positive difference in people's lives in general. And I don't know where this journey is going to go, I don't know where this channel is going to go, but I just want to shift and make a difference in everything that we touch, based on the suicide stats, like just people's well-being, people's growth, like just everything. And I'm on a journey myself, and I'm not the finished article. I'm not I don't think I'm better than anyone. I'm just on this journey in the process, and I just want to share and be open and honest with you guys, and I'm committed to creating like valuable content. So yeah, if you want to reach out, and can you please like this video if you liked it, and also drop a comment. And the most important thing is please subscribe, because I'm going to be dropping videos on a regular basis. So definitely please subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing week. Thanks.